Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Felony. Today, I'm coming at you guys with a full TradeZella review. I'm going to be breaking down the platform, how to use it, how I use it, and how to really take advantage of what this platform offers. I'm also going to do a trade recap on my most notable trades from last week, which happened to be my best week of 2023 so far. So let's get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and show my stats here. This is specifically for last week from September 18th to September 22nd. This was my best week this year. Now, what I mean by that is in terms of execution, right? I like to judge my trading based off how I'm executing, right? P&L is kind of irrelevant to me. Yes, I made great money. I made $200 shy of $9,000, but my execution was top tier. And I know if I continue executing like that, it's out of this world, right? Wasn't the biggest P&L for me personally, like all time, but execution was next level. First things first here, let's dive right into TradeZella. This is a journaling platform. I want to say so much, but it's hard to explain how valuable this platform is. I'm being brutally honest. This is not paid. This is not anything like that. I do not stand behind much in terms of stock market services or even platforms or anything like that. And I've used multiple journaling platforms, even pen and paper back when I was first starting. TradeZella exceeded any expectations I had and continues to. So let's get right into it. This is going to be your dashboard, right? This is what you see when you open TradeZella, right? When you first open TradeZella, this was going to pop up. This is your dashboard. Think of it like an overview, right? Here we go. We're going to have our net P&L on the top left, trade expectancy. And if you don't know what that is, you can just hover over this little icon and it'll enlighten you, right? We can see, hey, this is the average amount that you can expect to win or lose per trade, right? Then you have your profit factor, which is very important. This is your total profits divided by your total losses. A profit factor above 1.0 indicates a profitable trading system. I put a lot more emphasis on my profit factor versus my win rate, right? And I'm going to break that down for you real quick. A profit factor means that you have a profitable system if it's above that 1.0. Win rate is relevant, but it's also irrelevant at the same time. The reason I say that is because you can have a 1% win rate and be profitable. You can have a 99% win rate and be unprofitable, right? What I mean by that is if you have a 99% win rate and you're unprofitable, that just means you lack risk management, and that 1% of the time you took a loss, that one loss or couple losses wiped out all of your gains, and vice versa for a 1% win rate, right? If you win 1% of the time, that one win could be much bigger than your losses, so that would make you profitable, right? So win rate is relevant in the sense of if you have a high win rate, you know you have a working system. You just need to work on risk management and keeping your losers smaller, right? That's why I personally put a lot more emphasis on profit factor, because I know I have a working system, right? I just want to know that I am in the right bracket in terms of a profit factor. I'm maximizing my system and working my strategy the best it can be worked, right? So that's what I personally look at the most. Over here to the end, we have our average win per slash loss per trade. It gives you a little highlight on that as well. And then we have a Zella score. This is, from my knowledge, right? I haven't dug into this too deep. This is calculated based off your win percent, profit factor, and average win loss. That's how they calculate their Zella score, which in this case, mine's going to be 81.55. All right. We also have a pretty much line graph of your daily net P&L. And then we have a bar graph in terms of our daily P&L. And then down here, we're going to have our recent trades and a nice little list for us. If you have any open positions, they're going to be listed here. Then we have a beautiful P&L calendar. And this is where you can actually see, your month overall, right? With the red, green, how many trades you took, etc., etc. And this is just the dashboard, right? What I want to get into now is the nitty gritty, right? So once you go over to the left side here, you're gonna have a little drop down menu. You're gonna have a daily journal. You can go in here and see day by day how many trades you took, commissions, your P&L, win rate, absolutely everything, right? So this is where you can go to actually break down your trades. And then you're gonna have a trade log, right? This is where I like to go because this is the data that I need to see to figure out where I want to go in terms of my journal, right? And if you guys aren't journaling, I recommend you started yesterday. Journaling is single-handedly the key to unlocking your full potential in the market. How else are you going to know what you're doing right or wrong, or what you're good at or you're not good at, right? That is why journaling is so influential when it comes to being a trader. Like, if you want to become a consistently profitable trader, you have to journal. Period. I stand on that, and I guarantee you 90% of other profitable traders would say the same thing, right? But trade log here, this is where we can see, hey, okay, what trade did I take? Was it a win? Was it a loss? And you can tag your setups. I'm going to break this down in a moment. This is an amazing feature that I love, right? So I can see what type of setup I took. I can see the type of position size that I used. I can see my actual percent in terms of my ROI, see how much I made. I can see my average entry, exit, when I opened it, when I closed it, how long I was in the trade, and then TradeZella will give you a rating based off of the trade, right? So this is where I go to on the weekends after the trading week. I'll go in here and say, okay, I want to look at my biggest winning trades, my biggest losing trades, and everything in between to really nitpick myself. Say, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And what could I fix for the week ahead? What should be my focus? What did I lack this week, right? And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do that. Let's go into the reports here, and that's where we're going to find that data. Now listen to me, you guys. If you're using pen and paper, that's all fine and dandy, right? But the most important thing when you're journaling is, for one, journaling your actual trades, right? But not just your trades, your mindset, how you felt going into the trade, how you felt managing the trade, position size you used, time of day it was, market conditions, was it a trending day in terms of the upside or downside, right? Those are all very important components of journaling. TradeZella literally does that for you, right? Literally all you have to do, upload your trades. They tell you to sit back, relax. They got everything, right? And this is all available at your fingertips, right? The monthly price, I think, is like $30 or something like that. Well worth it tenfold, right? That like in my opinion, it's invaluable, right? This is amazing. It even made me a better trader, right? I was a consistently profitable trader before TradeZella even came out. But since it came out, it's helped me tremendously, right? But when you go to the reports here, this is going to be the overview part, right? I'm going to see everything I need to see in terms of my best month, my lowest month, my average, my average daily volume, average winning trade, losing trade, average total trades I take on a daily basis, or I think it's a weekly basis, something like that. Max wins consecutively, max losses, commissions, fees, largest profit, loss, absolutely everything, guys. Like, this is huge, right? And on the other end over here, you can go look at your profit factor, absolutely everything. Then it'll show you a little graph and a bar graph as well. But what I really want to get into is the detailed part here, right? This is where this information right here, what new traders don't realize is 99.9% of your problems can be answered with your journal, right? What this data provides me is priceless, right? So if I'm looking here, I'm looking at, okay, what days do I perform best, right? Let's look here. What days do I perform best historically, right? Based off my execution and who am I as a trader. First look at it, I can say, okay, Fridays, right? Fridays look to be my best days, right? I can look and see, oh, okay, Fridays are my best. Looks like Wednesdays, I don't really do too well, right? Mondays, I do okay, right? But I can literally go here and see what days I perform best, right? If you notice, for example, about yourself, hey, on Tuesdays, I tend to get wrecked, right? Well, guess what? Maybe you should take it lighter or not trade Tuesdays. Versus Mondays, you see for yourself, hey, I do great on Mondays. Mondays, maybe you can put a little size on, maybe you be a little bit more aggressive on Mondays. That data that's provided for you is invaluable, right? That's how you really level up, is by knowing what you do right and actually defining your edge. That's super, super, super important. You can even go by weeks. What week do you perform best, right? What month do you perform best? And my favorite is, what time do you perform best? Is it at the open? Is it later in the day after price action slows down, right? In my case, I perform best off of the open, right? right? That is my edge, trading the opening bell volatility, right? Between 9:30 and 11. As you can see here, 10 a.m. is my peak. This is when I perform best, right? And I can visually see that. I can go down here and actually look at the time. How much money have I made at what time, right? I have all this data for me available at my fingertips, and I can go back, I can analyze it. I can say, okay, I need to work on that. I need to work on this. This data is priceless, right? The most important component of becoming a consistently profitable trader is understanding who you are as a trader, right? You can take a mentorship, you can take a course, you can go to YouTube University, you can replicate someone's strategy, you can replicate someone's system, but what you can't replicate is someone's trading psychology and who they are as a trader. TradeZella literally gives you the data to break down who you are as a trader, which is the first thing you need to know in terms of actually getting to consistency and profitability. This is the first step. Understanding who you are as a trader, what you do best, when you do it best, what market conditions, and so on and so forth. You can even dive in further here at trade duration, right? What do you perform best in terms of trade management? Are you good at holding for a minute to 2 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes? In my case is when I perform best in terms of trade management. 5 to 10 minutes is when I perform best. When it gets those higher times, like 10 to 30 minutes or 30 to 60 minutes, that's when I tend to, I don't like sitting in trades that long. I know that about myself. So I tend to trade to my strengths, right? I'm more of a scalper in that sense of looking for those minute to 2 minute or maybe 5 to 10 minute trades, right? I can visually see that in my journal. Hey, this is what's best for me, right? And that's what's most important is you're trading to your strength and your edge, right? And you can go a ton further here in terms of actual contract size, volume traded, tickers you trade, what do you perform best in terms of that aspect, sectors. You can go to setups, which is my favorite, right? This is invaluable, right? Like if you have a few strategies that you're trading, if you journal for a month straight, 30 days, and then you go back on TradeZella after that 30 days and you see after that 30 days, hey, okay, break and retest, out of 50 trades, I was green 40, right? And then you go and see, hey, okay, opening bell gap ups, I took 20 of them, and out of the 20 of them, I was red on 17. Bam! There's your data you need. Hey, okay, break and retest is my strong suit. Opening bell gap ups are not my strong suit. So I need to stay away from those, focus on break and retest, and try to work on those opening bell gap ups to make them a little bit more of my strength. Or you can just leave them completely, right? So in my case here, I can see, okay, this year, or really last week, break and retest was my bread and butter, right? Break and holds were right behind it. Counter trend trades were right behind that. I can see where I performed the best and what I performed the best with, right? Same thing goes with mistakes. You can literally tag your trades. If you execute on Monday and then you go back in your journal and say, hey, okay, I entered too early. I was over leveraged. I panic sold, right? After 30 days of journaling, you go back and look, you can analyze those mistakes and those losses will turn into lessons, right? This is super, super, super important, you guys. I can't stress this enough. This is absolutely amazing. And we don't have to do anything. All we have to do is upload our trades. Bam, there it is for us to learn from. And this is data on yourself. This is you. This is who you are as a trader, right? You can go even further. You can make more tags about, anything. You can say, hey, I was trading equity. This was a great trade. I sold for no reason, right? You can do all of that, right? This is why I love this section. You can go even further up here in terms of options. What expirations do you trade best? Weeklies, 1 DTE, 2 DTE, 0 DTEs, 2 weeks out. You can see where you perform best in terms of expirations, which is actually important for us as option traders. Also, you can go check out position size. What position size do you perform best? This is honestly I can't stress this enough. This is the most important for new traders. A lot of new traders say, well, what do I trade with? Well, you need that case study, right? Trade with multiple different position sizes over a month or 2 months. Journal it. Put it in TradeZella. Go back and look, right? This data is invaluable, right? You can go back and say, hey, okay, I performed best with $1,000, right? You took 20 trades with 3K and you noticed you didn't manage those well. You took 40 trades with 1K and you noticed you managed them a lot better. Guess what? That 1K position size might be better for you, and you can visually see that, and the data backs that, right? This is why this is huge, 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 huge. You could literally come here and see what position size you perform best with, right? You can also go to wins versus losses. In terms of your losses, you know, how many losses did you take, your average volume, so on and so forth. Market behavior. What days do you perform best? When the market's green, when the market's red, when the market gaps up, when it gaps down, when the market's flat. What type of day? Was it an inside day? Was it an outside day? Was it a trending day? All of this data is available for you, and this is absolutely priceless. The $30 a month that they charge, that's worth it tenfold in my opinion. Like I said, I'm not being paid for this. This is my honest opinion on TradeZella. I couldn't say anything bad if I wanted to be honest with you. I couldn't, right? There's nothing I could say. I've tried. I thought about it hard. There's nothing I can say, right? And my last and my favorite here, well, there's one more thing I want to cover, but the trade replay, guys. This is huge. This is monumental. You can literally go back, click on a trade. Let's say, for example, let's go check out Meta. I made $944 on Meta here. Let's go check this out. I can rewatch this trade. I remember this trade. This was a 300 break and hold. So I'm going to draw this line on this chart for you guys, and I'm actually going to break down this trade on the trading view chart here in a moment, and we'll actually go look at my execution and everything. But what I can do is go to trade replay, click on the trade I want, right? It's going to show me everything. It's going to show me how much I made, my actual percentage. It's going to show me how much I had in the position. It's going to show me the trade duration, and you'll also have access to time and sales and level 2 live. And the chart doesn't lag. It's actual real time, tick by tick. So you can watch your trade after you've already executed, and that way you can really nitpick your execution. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? You're watching the trade after it's happened. You've already executed. You've already closed it. And as you guys know, when the market's open, emotions are high, adrenaline's pumping. Sometimes you're not trading the right mindset. But if you're watching your trade after the market's closed, you're likely going to have a level head. On the weekend, grab a drink, grab some popcorn, sit down with the fam, sit back and watch your trades and analyze and say, hey, what did I do right here? What did I do wrong here? And all you have to do is go to the top here and click play. Right? And it's going to play out in real time. I have it sped up, but if you go to 1x, it's literally just as the market was open, tick by tick by tick, right? You can watch level 2, you can watch time and sales, and when it's time for your execution to come through, you're going to see it here. Like you'll notice, I'll get filled in a moment. I took the 300 break and hold. I'm going to speed this up for the sake of the video. You'll notice over here, it'll turn green, and it'll put an arrow on the chart when I got filled, right? It'll put another arrow when I added some. It'll put another arrow when I sold some. This is absolutely beautiful. I can go back and literally rewatch my trades. Think of it like a sports team, watching the other team's highlights or trying to get insight on them. This is how you can do this for yourself in terms of an actual execution, right? You can go back and analyze yourself. This is priceless. This trade replay feature is priceless. Okay, guys, so we can see here, hey, I got filled, right? I bought 15 contracts. I entered here on the retest of 300. I had a tight stop loss back below 300. My target was a push back into this previous high of the day. In this trade, I'm going to be honest with you. There's nothing I could have done different, in my opinion. Now, if you guys think I could have done something different, feel free to comment. I'm going to go into this trade a little bit more depth. I'm going to go to TradeZella and show you what it looks like when you actually click on a trade and what data that it provides you. But this is what you can do for the trade replay. It'll show you where you entered. It'll show you where it exited, all live, tick by tick. This is absolutely my favorite, right? This is super, super cool. Here you go. You can see I sold into that new high day. And that's the trade replay. Absolutely awesome. Not complicated. The chart is actually interactive as well. So you can do whatever you want on the chart, right? You can put arrows on the chart. You can draw horizontal lines on the chart. You can put a Fibonacci retracement. You can make marks on it. You can put text on it. You can do whatever you want. It's a fully functioning chart, so that's super cool as well. But TradeZella, man, it's it's amazing in my opinion, right? And this is my opinion. And they also just added a new feature, right? I'm personally a mentor. I've mentored over 300 plus developing traders, and they added this mentor mode. I don't want to show all my mentees information, but what I do personally for my mentorship, thanks to TradeZella, is they give me access to look at all my mentees' data, right? So my mentees will accept my invite after I invite them, and I can click on one of their names. I can go look at all their trades. I can analyze their trades for them. I can leave comments. I can actually go through review and actually comment on the trade while it's happening on the trade replay and leave notes at certain moments. I can go in their journal. I have so much availability in terms of my mentees, allowing me to help them more, right? So this is a super dope feature that they just added, which is I'm super stoked about, and my mentees are as well. And even if you're a mentee and you have if someone else is your mentor, you can add them. So that's pretty cool as well. And the journal is absolutely awesome. They actually have a playbook as well, which I'm currently working on for my mentees also, where you can share your strategies. People can look at your trades, right? I'm actually going to make this public. I'm going to share my playbook, setups that I take, and you guys will be able to actually see my trades throughout the week and stuff like that. So you guys can look forward to that as well. The notebook's really cool. You can go in here and journal. You can, do a weekly overview, sessions recap, notes, whatever you would like to do is here for you. In my opinion, man, I've tried a few others, just to name a few: TraderView, TradeSync, and a few others that I don't want to mention. But TradeZella, man, blows them out the water in every aspect. There is no competition. I rate this a solid 10 out of 10. I love it. It's helped me become a better trader, and I encourage you guys to use it as well. And if you would like to use it, in the link in the description below, I'm going to post my link for you guys. I do have a surprise, so be sure to click the link below and read the description. You guys will catch that. Let's go ahead and hop into the trade recap now. I'm going to go over my most notable trades from last week. Starting with Monday. I think it was Monday. No, I think it is Tuesday, right? I want to go into SPY. SPY was a trade that I took. Absolute beautiful trade. This was the 434 reject. I wanted to break down this trade for you guys, my rationale, my thought process. This is one of my best trades from last week. I had 3 or 4 I want to go over with you guys real quick. But as you can see here, I took a reject on SPY. Let's go over here to the trading view chart. This level on SPY, just so you guys can see my rationale, this was a major support, right? So if we look at this SPY chart here, we had a major support that was broken. Now it was turned into resistance, which also was the previous day's high. So what I was looking for here, I think this was Friday. Was this Friday? Yeah, this was Friday. What I was looking for here was a push back into this 434 level. I was looking for a push back into it. I was looking for a failure of this level, a close below it, and then I was able to, that was going to permit an entry for me where I could keep a stop loss back above that high of the day and look for a move back into that intraday structure at 433. This was a beautiful trade in every aspect. It played out exactly to my criteria. It was a plug and play system, and it was beautiful, right? If I let this play out, we can go watch it on the trade replay feature actually, right? But what you can see here is SPY pushed into 434, attempted to close above it. And if you notice on this very next candle, we end up failing it. That permitted an entry for me, right? Especially with that nice little tweezer top, bearish engulfing. That was beautiful, right? And if we go look at this TradeZella chart here, you'll be able to see where I entered. I entered at the top of this candle in terms of execution. I entered 10 contracts at 237, added another 25 at 237, added another 10 right after that. I ended up catching about 20% of this trade, had a little bit bigger position size. It was about 4.5K, but this was a beautiful trade, right? I did make a note here, and that was because I was over leveraged, right? I had about 5K in 0DTs at 2 p.m. That's not okay with me. I don't know if that was an accident or not, but I usually don't trade that heavy on 0DTs at 2 p.m., right? So in that case, I was a little over leveraged, and I did make a note of that so I could go back and say, hey, I did something wrong here and know that for moving forward. But that trade right there, that would be noted in my playbook as a break and retest, right? This was a previous support that was broken, turned to resistance. How did I know when to enter? I looked for the test of that 434 level, failed it, entered with a stop above that candle high. That was the nature of that trade with the target of that intraday structure. Very, very simple. Now, there's two other trades I want to go over as well. This was with Meta. This was on, I think, Friday as well. Yes, 9/22. I want to go over this trade with you guys. I made $944 in this trade. This was one of my favorite trades from last week. And this is just a classic break and retest. We just watched that on the trade replay, but this was absolutely beautiful. I caught 50% on this trade. Very, very, very beautiful trade. I only had a 2K position. I had 15 contracts. And the beautiful thing here is, right, so when you click on one of these trades and when you want to review your execution, you can change the time frames. You can pull up indicators on this trading view chart. So you can go here and literally turn on VWAP. You can turn on moving averages. You can add other indicators as well. You can use retracements. It's very, very cool. You'll see how much you traded, commissions and fees if you're trading on a platform like that. You can even add your profit target, your stop loss, your risk. And down here is what I was talking about with the setups. If a setup isn't listed that you like to trade, you can add it, right? We'll say YouTube video, right? And I can add it, right? I can add a new tag called YouTube video. So this is super, super cool. I highly recommend you tag all your trades in terms of setups. Same thing with mistakes. Say, for example, news release, right? You were in a trade and you didn't know news was coming out. So that was a mistake that you didn't pay attention to, right? You could add that and it would be a tag and you can go back and say, hey, okay. You can also rate your trades from 1 to 5 stars. Very, very cool. And then down here, they actually show you the options pricing, right? So not only can you see your execution in terms of the equity chart on TradingView or Thinkorswim, wherever you use, you can see your execution in terms of the options, right? It'll show you where you entered for your contracts, right? Like I entered 15 contracts here at 1.09, then 122. You can see where the low was, where the high was. So that way you can correlate it to the chart and really see where you went right at or where you went wrong at or what you could have done better and stuff like that. So that's very, very cool. But let's break this down on the TradingView chart. My rationale for this was, one, this is a major psychological level, big 300 psychological level. Number two was, this was the previous day's high. And not only that, on Friday, 9/22 here, is Meta was relatively strong against the overall market. And the reason I say that is, if you look at this pre-market action here on Meta, we had a nice little developed uptrend, right? Well, on Friday here, SPY was very weak. SPY was in fact trending down. So that was an anomaly to me. Meta was standing out by being relatively strong and pushing higher pre-market while SPY was going lower. So I knew if we got above this 300 level, there was nothing but room to the upside on Meta. And what I simply did is I waited for Meta to break 300, right? And off the open, I like using the 2-minute time frame. I waited for the retest. So once we came back down to retest this 300 level, I took my entry on Meta, and it was an absolute clean and clear, beautiful trade. Sold back into that previous high of the day. If you guys notice here and you look at my TradeZella, this is on the 1-minute time frame, right? I literally entered here. My first entry was at, let's go look down here, 935, and I sold at 939. So if we go look at the TradingView chart here, I took my first entry at 935. So I entered when we came back and retested this 300 level. I sold into that previous high of the day at 939. So I sold roughly right here. And that was a 50% return on that 0 to T. Well, you got to think about it. That was about $1.50 equity move. So that was a very big move, but a very simple trade, just a classic break and retest. I waited for Meta to break the 300 level, come back down and retest it. I entered on the retest, looked to sell back into that previous intraday structure at that high a day. Very, very simple trade. No calculus equation here, just price action and waiting for a level to present opportunity, right? And there's one more trade I want to cover. That's going to be Microsoft, and that's exact same setup, right? On this day, Microsoft, I was actually watching to the downside, right? And this was one of my biggest trades last week. I made a little bit over 2K on Microsoft. This was about a 50% return. Absolute huge, huge, huge trade, right? So as you can see here, made about $2,500 on Microsoft. Had about a 5K position. I had 30 contracts, but this was absolutely beautiful, right? What I want to show you guys is on the chart is if we go back to TradingView here, you'll notice it was fairly weak in the morning. Well, what happened was Microsoft got news regarding AI, right? It was some AI news article that was released, and I'm very fortunate I scalped this because it ended up fading afterwards. But anyways, it had a news catalyst regarding AI, seeing a massive break of this big 320 level, right? This 320 was a big level earlier in the morning, along with all after hours and the day before, plus on the hourly time frame, this was a big respect level. So once we broke that 320, I was simply looking for a pullback back into that 320 level to go long with a simple stop below, right? So similar setup to Meta, just a classic break and retest, right? Once we pulled back here, let's go look at my execution. I made my first entry here at 1025, added at 1026, 4 different times, right? So if you look at my execution here, added 5 contracts at 1025, added another 5, 10, 14, added another 24 contracts at 1026. So if we go look at the trading view chart here, let's go to the 1 minute. I took my first entry at 1025. So this very next candle is where I made my first entry. I made my first entry here. Once we tick back down, I added at 1026, and that was into that 320 level. Added more here 4 different times. And this trade, I did kind of paper hand a little bit. So if you look at this chart here, I took my first initial sell on the pop back up. Then I took another sell once we broke this 322 level at the 1034, and then I took another sell back into the high of the day at 1036. And if you look at this chart here, there was really no reason for me to sell, to be honest with you. I just seen that 50% and I was satisfied with the $2,500. And that's actually a big struggle of mine, selling based off the P&L versus sticking to what's on the chart, right? If like hindsight, looking at this chart now, I had the bottom, right? I entered at literally the best spot possible. I entered off this 320 level. I had the tightest risk. I had nothing but reward back into this previous high of the day. I ended up selling roughly, I would say, right about here, all right? And yes, you guys are probably saying, oh, well, you caught 50%. I didn't enter the trade with the thought of, oh, I'm gonna make 50%. I entered this trade based off the fact that I had a beautiful psychological level here at 320 that was very respected, and my risk was so tight. I was risking a simple break back below this 320. So once it closed back below it, I stopped out, and my reward was a move back into this previous high. So let's say here I was risking about 20 cents. That's a $4 move to the upside. That's about a 20 to 1 R in terms of the actual equity move, right? Options contract, I would have probably risked about 5 to 10%, and I caught 50, so that's still a 10 to 1 R, right? But that's a struggle of mine, right? Sometimes I sell based off my P&L. I look up and say, oh, I'm up 1,000. I'm just going to go ahead and take profit without even really looking at the chart and evaluating and saying, hey, it's okay to hold longer. Like this trade right here, there's no reason to sell. And I think I even noted that, right? No, I didn't. So let me add that. Let's go down here. Selling for no reason. So I just added that, right? I said this was a great trade, said it was a break and retest, and I just added I sold for no reason, right? I could have held it a little bit longer to the high of the day push, and I would have made a lot more. Because if you go down here and look at the option contracts, right? Look at that whole candle I missed here. That was another, let me see, probably 40%. Yeah, so I would have made almost 5,000 on this trade rather than 2,500. But great trade nonetheless. I definitely wanted to break down those trades for you guys. Those were my 3 most notable trades from last week, which, like I stated in the beginning of this video, last week was my best trading week this year. You guys can simply look at my execution from last week and how my week went. I was 5 for 5. I took 1 red trade last week. I took 16 trades total, as you can see here. I had 1 losing trade, 94% win rate with a 28.58 profit factor. Made a little bit over $8,500, almost $9K last week. That was a fucking amazing week for me. I was very, very happy. It wasn't my biggest in terms of P&L, but it was my best this year in terms of execution. And that's what I'm very happy about, because I know if I'm executing well, the money's going to come behind it. Consistency is key. And I know right now when I'm executing in a manner that I am, the sky's the limit. But yeah, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video breakdown of TradeZella. Once again, my honest review and opinion is it's worth it. 10 out of 10. I couldn't tell them to change anything. I couldn't tell them to add anything. It's made me a better trader in every aspect in terms of being able to go back and analyze myself and really work on who I am as a trader, right? It's beautiful. And just a little insight for you guys, I don't edit my videos. I'm a one-take man. I do stutter, as you guys can see there, so hopefully you guys accept me the way I am. I just like posting the raw, uncut, so you guys can really see how it is. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're still here, love y'all. Hope you guys have a great night. Peace.